books, but Poetry for Personal Power, for all of our event participants, is offering scholarships. We will pay your $150 if they accept you. And so Sheri can speak just a bit about how awesome that program was for her. Sheri is also a winner of several different open mics in town. She's one of the hardest working poets in town. She got a Facebook, a Twitter, a website, a YouTube channel. She is out there and doing what it needs to be a professional artist. So give a hand for Sheri, Purpose, Spoken Purpose. Oh, she is a poet with a purpose. She's a poet on a mission. So one more hand. That was just a quiet hand. Give her a loud hand. Cheers. What gives you power in this room? Yell it out.
Poetry.
Poetry. Do you have personal
Power.
You got personal
Power.
All right. At Sheri Hall, one more. Make it loud. Now make it loud. Cheers.
Woo! We're poet.
All right.
Good day.
Start and stop.
I came to mess your minds up for a little bit. Is that cool? All right. So, Corinna asked me to speak a little bit about Artist Inc. Let me tell you something. It's so worth it. It's worth it. If you're really looking into being a professional artist, no matter what kind of artist you are, excuse me, for one, the networking opportunity is phenomenal. You get in a room with mixed media. So you're in a room with sculptors, painters, writers, playwrights. You're in a room with people who are not just like you. And that's wonderful for collaborations, as well as everything they tell you about. They tell you about the business. I know your art grabs your heartstrings and leads you, but the business side still has to be done too. All of your marketing, promotions, your taxes. Please stay out of jail. Your taxes need to be done. They help you with all of that, so it's so worth it. So if you are really interested in that, I suggest you go look it up, because if they're accepting applications for first years, you better get in, because they just started a second year program and they're not running the two at the same time. All right, so with that being said, I am Sheri Purpose Hall. My website is www.spokenpurpose.com, and let me just mess your mind up a little bit. So I'm going to do a medley. And it is 4 poems put together, snippets of them. 4 of them. So see if you can catch the transitions. But one of them's The Name is Deep. And
I'll be cheating.
don't be cheating.
I know them all.
And the second one is Bitter Forgiveness, and that's a poem about my experience with my father. The third one is Greed. The fourth one is Living Limitless, and we're back to deep again. But all of these poems have themes of what happened to me and what helps me get through. So if you're ready to take this ride, let's go. Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight? We like to romanticize our sin. You're like to romanticize our sin. I like to romanticize my sin. Lust fruit juices drip from my tongue and chin when I grin, the misleading beam, sun-soaking in desolation. Once again, kin to despair, open to denial's language, closed to open's anguish, losing self and selfishness, me, myself, and I. Dirty love triangle, it's me. Running through the channels of misery, long hard roads, jagged yet deceptively smooth pavement, cracked once beautiful feet, calloused, bleeding, anger and lament, and still running like paths through the forest of my father's sin seeds and first fruits. The foliage is thick here, so I find comfort and grow short roots. I can hide my business in my busyness. Shallow. The prayer life of a busy person. Shallow, like the love experience of one who was lured to the bedroom by a prowler girl. He don't really love you. Shallow, like how scratching the surface jeopardizes the entirety. Shattered, shallow, like too old, overused, under-maintained leather relationship with God out of shape. Why must I be so disposable, compostable, dispensable, giving no stability, only grand vulnerability in ministry? It's me. He deserves better loyalty, effectiveness, dedication. What I should be, deep. What I need, deep, but I can't because he told me that he couldn't tell his wife about me during a long conversation of crying and pleading when I was only 15. Outside my face was an apathetic blue coat still while my heart cried, my insides screamed, looking around for the red dot on the hidden black camera that was going to give me the America's Funniest Home Videos deal. But this pot of crap I called life wasn't funny, it was real. To that sentence there could be no logical response, but my heart applauded when my soul gathered enough courage to make my mouth say, why? Aren't you the one that God sent for me to call daddy? My father? Me, Poppy? After that day, religion and the fifth commandment never meant the same thing to me. Exodus 20:12, honor thy mother and thy father. To whom, God? What man do you mean? He don't claim me in public, only on the low. A father's real love I will not know, not to honor him, a sin committed daily, but to not obey the wages of sin or death and hell becomes my eternity. Father, you subconsciously punish me to hate, and I feel guilty to be bitter about to be better than me. That day I wanted to hit him so hard it would make his asthma act up and his chest bleed. Taking hold of his lungs, having breathing constipation to death, I wanted to sign his deed, wanted to write him off just like off he wrote me, right along with his responsibilities for the spoils of war against my father. Hi, my name is Greed. I got your wife and your kids and your whole entire family. One day, my boss said, Greed, are you busy? I said, no, push the buttons with your left hand, Greed. Then I began to stare at my lustful steed, disguising all your wants as contemporary needs, allowing your eyes to fill with envy, envying even the most minute of things like his tennis shoes or her earrings, to huge things like her marriage and his ministry. Can't do nothing with that. It's good to be king and have your own way mentality, making the grass look evergreen just to entice others. Jealousy, gotta get it, gotta have it, gotta spend all your time making that almighty dollar, racking up dime stacks that still don't amount to a hill of beans because you live in limitless. Like we used to live life limitless, like life itself was endless. But life without limits has limitation to your existence. Every life without limits has limitation to your existence. Every life without limits has limitation to your existence. How will your kids remember you when you no longer exist? Sky is coming blue. Mama, is my daddy up the sky with God? Fretting the day that she asked me, why is my daddy up the sky with God, and what was he like? All those questions pierce my heart. I don't have those smooth, kind of benign answers we look forward to giving children, painting them a beautiful picture of a creature full of honor falling in his prime, but reality is ugly. And the truth is deep. Praying the Lord his rest to keep as I strive to accomplish this task without giving a diminished image of him in his absence. Speaking of him in the past tense brings back the subtle pain and misery that death brought to me and my strong yearning not to engage in single parenting. But this anticipated, unexpected passing gave me the much-needed awakening I need to settle down, nurture my seed, set some goals, ensure I succeed, and leave a better legacy. Till then, wisdom had no penetration, no matter how much the preparation left ministry for indiscretion, reckless, no consideration. A scab, heart's palpitations, denied the divine's insemination. And it took this day to make preparation to a spirit world and in agitation. I just wish it didn't cost so much for me to pay attention. Premonitions of his death haunt my waking sleep, and I knew full well what his fate would be, and I still didn't make time to act right. Wasn't concerned with his way of life, was willing to forego righteous living if he would just be right, and not even for me to be with me. You see, I wanted my children to be unlike me and actually have a father. So bad that I didn't bother with the calling from my Abba. So when God was saying pay attention, he was trying to mention the path of salvation. I didn't feel the need to listen because I had already made my own prescription, neglecting the healing of the great physician. All the days we sat back, blazing, roamed the streets, hell brazen, I should have been engaging that brother in some praising. Looking back now to recognize why this man was in my life, because he certainly was not my husband and I wasn't meant to be his wife. I had fallen from my first love and he was here to bring it back. I was here with him to minister, not for him to be my mister, but I got it twisted. And I ain't the first to have missed it, and I won't be the last, but hopefully by listening you can get some information in and size up your personal situation so when you get the call, you answer. Because the next call you get might be your last. And I ain't saying that I'm to blame for his death, but I'm not exactly thoughtless. There was no prayer life to mention, no Christ in our existence, so the blood on my hands eradicates my selfish innocence. And you might say, no, that's deep. Well, it's deep like issues too numerous to mention in this poem. Deep like me not spouting off the plight of numerous African and American revolutionaries, you know, Marcus Garvey and so on, injecting the Willie Lynch slander on some person or group of people and so on, to sound like one of those deep and yes, underappreciated poets. Deep like the stoning of Stephen, the beheading of John the Baptist, the plight and crucifixion of Jesus. These two and many more like them also suffered as revolutionaries and yes, are also underappreciated. Deep like me wanting to be more like them. Deep like them being enough for me. Deep like being so scared of your own anointing that you martyr your spirit. Because human reflection would have you to believe that you ain't good enough to receive this deep, like the calling from God that just don't go away. Deep like me, once again, returning to my dirty love triangle. Me, myself, and I, giving justification to lust fruit juices as it drips off my tongue and chin when I grin the misleading beam, sun-soaked in desolation. Once again, kindle despair. Open to denials, language closed to opens anguish, losing self and selfishness. It's not the devil, it's me. Deep like recognizing your own shortcomings and petitioning the Father for change, and after I have gotten so deep, God, please don't leave me hollow. Take me to your secret place and fill me with more of you that I may be deep with substance. Meditate.